execution of Trump coming up. So I feel like I'm the only person on YouTube talking about this stuff seriously. Impeachment of Trump, execution of Trump. We're talking about the execution of Trump and all his cronies because they're traitors. Okay, Trump has fully revealed that he's a traitor with his Ukraine peace plan. He's fully revealed that he works for Russia. We should also have a committed effort to destroy Putin and his network, his regime in Russia. Whether or not Russia continues to be a country, whether or not the United States continues to be a country, we should destroy Putin, destroy Trump, destroy all the Trumpism and all the Putinism that's been going on. All that falls under the umbrella of the Antichrist. Trump is the Antichrist, which makes Putin, his daddy Vladdy, the devil. And we should just destroy the devil. We've got Jesus on our side, and the goddess and all good spirits are on our side for destroying the devil, and we should go ahead and do it. So that's my plan. That's the level that I'm taking this to. We should destroy the devil. I am a nonviolent person who advocates for nonviolence. On the other hand, with Trump calling for hanging traitors, let the baby have his bottle. Threaten us with a good time. He's a traitor. He should be hung. It makes me want to do a version of my favorite things with MAGA on lampposts, like like on strings, like some mittens. Like, this is what they're going to get. Some of them are going to get extremely violent ends for what they've done to us. And that's appropriate. Like, I'm nonviolent. I think the very most peaceful way to do this is arrest Pete Hegseth. The military can arrest Pete Hegseth, and they can just tell Trump, you're free to flee to Moscow. You let him flee to Moscow, and his supporters, some of them will still do terrorist acts because they're terrorists. That's what they do. But his supporters will calm down because the military will be in control, Trump will be in Moscow, and he will have fled to the country that sponsored him. He will have fled to the country that he betrayed us for. And everyone will know that Trump is that traitor. Everyone will know when they have the live feed of him watching his trials on TV in the Kremlin. Everyone will know that Trump is the traitor that he is. Now, there's other options. There's like a World War III option. There's an option where wherever side America is on, we fight World War III. And if Trump puts us on the wrong side of World War III with Putin, then we lose. There's that. There's winning World War III, overthrowing Trump, and having World War III be basically just the world against Putin, and we destroy Russia. One of the outcomes could be splitting Russia into three and having Ukraine annex one third of Russia, Turkey can annex 1/3 of Russia, and China can annex 1/3 of Russia. That idea is very similar to what we did with Germany after they committed their crimes. Well, to start World War II. Well, they're trying to start World War III now, so they've pretty much earned the annexation and fracturing of Russia. Russia's earned not being a country anymore. Has America earned not being a country anymore? Well, depends on how long we let Trump continue. If Trump continues to turn America into a fascist hellhole, there's nothing to save. At some point there's nothing to save, and it's time to ask Canada and Mexico, please annex half of us each and facilitate land back to the indigenous people. When I first suggested Canada and Mexico being annexed, someone made the comment, no, it's stolen land. It should go to the indigenous people. So I was like, okay, annex America as part of a process to facilitate land back to the indigenous people. And I realized that's probably the simplest and best path to get the land back to the indigenous people, is have some governments, not our government, but some governments in a caretaker role doing that process. She didn't have anything to say to that. No complaints. I mean, she wasn't supporting the plan because she doesn't actually support land back to the indigenous people when an idea actually works out. It's like people supporting universal health care. Do you support universal health care or not? Because who pays the insurance companies in a system with universal? Nobody. In a system with universal health care, nobody pays the insurance companies. There aren't any insurance companies. So when they're all whining about the premiums are skyrocketing, a lot of us don't have health care. Okay, even with your Obamacare, a lot of us don't have health care and don't care about the premiums skyrocketing. And the people who do care about their premiums skyrocketing, if they were good enough at math, which they haven't educated people to be, if they're good enough at math, they would realize, look, they can pay those premiums now, But pretty soon they're going to get priced out of insurance, and all the money they spend is only going to go to the health care of a rich person. So if you want to cancel insurance for all poor people and middle class people and only have it for the rich, let's cancel it all. If we stop paying those premiums now, insurance fails. They can jack that number up as high as they want, but it's just a number if nobody pays it. So send your medical bills to the White House, stop paying insurance, let insurance collapse, and send Jasmine Crockett or AOC or anybody to the White House to pay those bills. Universal health care. That's concepts of a plan that actually fail into a plan. So we got some good highlights out of this. We didn't get any good viewers. We got that one Nazi from London who says, China is kind of worse than Russia. No, the worst thing China's done is not stop Putin. One of the worst things America's done is not stop Putin. China's not worse than America. America's not worse than China in those regards. It's not a contest. Putin's the worst as far as I can tell. I can't think of anything China does that compares to what Putin's done. So Putin's the worst, not just for invading Ukraine, for replacing our president with a Nazi, for replacing our president with a traitor. This will not be forgiven. I don't know why we can't just get a team in there to assassinate Putin. I don't even care about a government team. I'm talking about just some Americans who care. How many Ukrainian refugees would it take to arrest Trump? How many veterans would it take to arrest Trump? How many Girl Scouts would it take to arrest Trump? I've been asking these 3 questions for 2-3 years. Okay? It's not that fucking hard. Whoever does it will be a hero, not just to America, but to the world. You stop Trump. The military can stop Trump with a simple coup. The military can stop Trump by arresting Pete Hegseth and telling Trump he's free to flee to Moscow. That's the simplest, most peaceful transition of power. Even an impeachment of Trump is going to set off all this Trump's terrorists. Like, military, do your job, do your duty, fulfill your oath, protect this country from a threat, foreign and domestic. Krasnov, a.k.a. BJT, a.k.a. Trump. You don't care about Uyghurs? Shut up. Brightleaf, you're a Nazi, okay? You're probably bragging about to whatever extent there's a genocide in China. You're probably bragging about it because you're a Nazi. You're bragging about the Gaza genocide, aren't you? Brag about the Gaza genocide. Show us what you are. Opinion on the Gaza genocide, Brightleaf, you London Nazi. Hello, Carissa. You got here at the right time. I was actually totally cool. I was just making great points, destroying Trump with the best points ever. And then I turned my attention to the Nazi, Brightleaf, the London Nazi, whose granddad was a piece of shit, whose granddad shot Nazi sperm into a Nazi cunt and produced a Nazi, raisin Nazi. Was it your mom's granddad or your dad's granddad? Because I guess your granddad shot Nazi sperm into some Nazi cunt that allowed another Nazi sperm shooter to shoot Nazi sperm into a Nazi cunt that produced you. That's how you came about, Brightleaf? Your Nazi granddad shooting his Nazi sperm after he shot down some Nazi boys? He shot down some Nazi boys that probably would have turned out better than you did, because you're a Nazi in 2025. They were Nazis in 1948 or something, 1946. Anyway, nice to see you, Carissa. Sorry for talking to the Nazis. I should avoid talking to the Nazis in the future. They don't really exist. They don't really matter. Sometimes you can come up with some funny things to say because of them, but it's hardly worth it. They really just spoil everyone's mood. Hello, Chemistry. I was only going to do a short live today because I do have some errands to run, but I felt like the only person who's calling out Trump as a traitor, that he needs to be removed and executed. We need to hang all these MAGA. Like, all of them. Fuck it. We can deport some of them to Siberia. I think that makes a statement. We can lock some of them in prison, whether we leave any food for them or not, or just let them eat themselves. We can lock some of them in the prisons they plan for the rest of us. The topic is ending Trumpism, executing Trump, executing Brightleaf. Brightleaf is a traitor, a Nazi in Ukraine. Brightleaf is a Nazi in Ukraine, not in Ukraine, in UK. Brightleaf is a Nazi who claims to be in London. If you haven't seen, all the supporters for Trump don't live in America. There aren't any American supporters. There aren't any supporters for Trump in America. There are all these channels from Bangladesh and shit that are trying to make money, trying to make that KGB money, that sweet, sweet KGB money, that Putin spent all his money on all these trolls, and he can't pay his army anymore. I've been saying this for years, too. None of these trolls are going to defend Moscow. None of these trolls are going to stop the advance upon Moscow. Prigozhin almost took Moscow. He would have if he'd been a hero instead of a traitor himself. But like taking Moscow is going to be a piece of cake because Putin's already killed 1 million of his soldiers and he can't pay the rest. It's over. This is their like moonshot. This is their like half court, full court shot to try to get Zelensky to take the peace deal. He's not taking it. We're taking Trump out. We're going to remove the traitor Trump. America is with Ukraine, and we will defeat Putin. We will defeat Russia once America comes back into play. Just because we have a traitor right now who's doing everything for Putin doesn't mean that's going to last long. So I got to get going soon. I'll read your comments and see who's a Nazi and who's not. What's London like? She asked the Nazi. What is London like, Nazi? We want to know what a Nazi thinks of London. We want to know what a Nazi pedophile thinks of London. Are there a lot of kids you can rape? Can you rape a lot of kids in London? Do you have a lot of people giving you Roman salutes when you walk down the street? You fucking Nazi piece of shit. If the Brits knew what you were, dude, they would burn your fucking house down right now. What's London like? Yeah, tell us your street address at London. So hopefully we can get some Brits on the case. He doesn't like that my granddad manned it. No, I don't like that your granddad manned a Nazi cunt and produced a Nazi child who produced a Nazi child. My granddad fought the Nazis, but he didn't produce a Nazi. That's the difference. My granddad and my great uncles fought the Nazis, but they weren't secretly Nazis whose sperm turned out to be Nazi like your granddad did. That's the problem, Brightleaf, you fucking Nazi traitor. He doesn't like that my granddad manned an AA gun in World War II. That's what you're hanging your hat on? Something your granddad did against the Nazis, and then you turned around and betrayed your granddad and your country and humanity to become a goddamn Nazi? Wish your granddad had shot that AA gun at your fucking head. And I disagree with him. Yeah, you disagree with me because I'm anti-Nazi. I'm anti-pedo. And you're a pedo fucking Nazi, aren't you? So he's mad my granddad did more against the Nazis than him. No, your granddad did worse. Your granddad became a Nazi. Your granddad produced Nazi fucking sperm. Look at you, you goddamn Nazi. London, not great to be honest. Unsafe, and police are ineffective. Oh, I need more boots to lick. Brightleaf says, otherwise kind of cold and expensive. Fuck you. I wish you'd freeze and die of hunger. You fucking Nazi piece of shit. Isn't London supposed to be romantic? Oh, romance with Nazis. Romance with Nazis gives people very high opinions of you. Brightleaf says, that's come out of left field. It can be Richmond Park and other places. Okay, so we know somewhat the area that he's familiar with. He's familiar with Richmond Park, and some other places are lovely. His granddad had a deformed leg. So if you want to track this Nazi, his granddad fired an AA gun and had a deformed leg. And other places are lovely. South Bank and Central are cool, but 5 times more expensive than anywhere else. Oh, poor boo-hoo, poor Nazi. Poor Nazi can't afford city he lives in. I'm sorry, that sounds crappy. Oh, sympathy for Nazis. That'll get you fucking broken up with. Thanks. Brightleaf says, low key want to move to the States. Fuck you, Nazi piece of shit. We'll move you to fucking Siberia. Fucking Nazi. You deserve to be deported from Ukraine. From UK. You deserve to be deported from UK. Taxes and cost of living are crazy over here. It depends on where you move here. But it's the same. No, it's not the same. They have socialized healthcare in UK, and this bitch ass is whining. I'm eating a pork pie. I hope you choke. Hope you choke and die. I don't think I'll serve. Oh, you'll starve. You'll starve. Don't worry. We'll lock you in a camp, and we won't put any food there. African Child says hello again from Lagos. Swed says they're not a Nazi. Well, that's great if you're not. How do you feel about Trump? Say something bad about Trump and find out whether you're not a Nazi. Hello, African Child, their other friend. I wanted to move to Texas. Well, Demetrius Antoine is a Nazi Klansman in Texas who would sponsor you, except he larps as a black person who you'd have to be racist against, and then he uses the N-word with the hard R all the time. So he's not a black person, so it'd be hard to find him when you're looking for a black person in Texas, and Antoine Dotson is the one meeting you at the airport. But both of y'all should be put in concentration camps, like you tried to put us in. Fuck you, you fucking Nazi pieces of shit. Yeah, I wouldn't live in Texas either. I don't think I'd live in Iowa either. Scrud says Trump is awesome. So he is a Nazi. He comes in and says he's not a Nazi, but then he says he is a Nazi. I'm not able to choose my own treatment. Many people here pay for private insurance. Oh, you can't choose treatment. Oh, poor little Nazi dies sick and alone and hated by his granddaddy. So anyway, at least I found out who y'all really are and whose side y'all really are on. And it's disappointing, but whatever. It's also something I suspected the entire time because you coddle Nazis and you come across like a Nazi. I mean, I appreciate you being nice, but, you know, maybe you were just being nice to me too. No, that's all right. I got it. I figured it out. I mean, I kind of knew it the whole time. Yeah, tolerance and love. We don't tolerate Nazis. Tolerance is not for Nazis. Okay? We don't tolerate Nazis. I mean, they can be here and they can talk, but that might be all they get. You sympathize with Nazis, you're a fucking Nazi. Sorry. You got to come across a lot harder against Nazis in this life to be on my side. I mean, if I have cancer, good. I'd rather be able to choose my own treatment. Fuck you. Fuck you and your choice. You're a goddamn Nazi. You deserve a fucking pillow to your face. And if that's what she was being sweet to you for, I could support it. But otherwise, I can't. Sorry. Like, that's it. And then I have to pay for my own treatment anyway on top of my tax burden of health care. On top of betraying your fucking granddad who shot Nazis. But then he shot some Nazi sperm into a Nazi cunt. Who shot some Nazi sperm into a Nazi cunt. And came up with you. Fucking pieces of shit. Just, I don't know. Be nice to Nazis in other people's lives. Don't be nice to Nazis in my life. When these Nazis fucking threaten me, when these Nazis fucking harass me all the goddamn time, don't be nice to these goddamn Nazis. It's insulting. Tell him what you think of him. He's a fucking Nazi. You know, why are you like, isn't it nice and romantic in London? Don't be like that to a goddamn Nazi. It's not nice and romantic in the fucking concentration camps they're putting people in and that they need to be put in. And the concentration camps we need to put these fucking MAGA in Siberia, there need to be 2 of them for their 2 genders they're so insistent about. And there should never be any crossover. So that shit ain't romantic. Yeah, you'll get to know a lot of Nazis in your camps. When we put you in the fucking camps you belong to, you'll get to know a lot of Nazis. You'll get to eat each other because we won't leave you any fucking food. I mean, I guess sometimes I'm in the mood for coddling Nazis and trying to lure them in. Sometimes I'm in the mood for that shit. Today, not so much because they keep fucking death threatening me. And their fucking Nazi Fuhrer keeps death threatening people. And nobody's been killed yet to show them who the real traitors are. As soon as you start killing some of these goddamn Nazis, as soon as we start executing some goddamn Nazis, the rest of them will scatter like the roaches they are. And until then, being on their side just because they're in fucking power makes you look like a piece of shit. That's all right. It was fun while it lasted, wasn't it? I mean, we can talk about it now, but I don't know if we'll talk about it later. I'm ready to leave, though, so we better talk about it quick. No, Brightleaf, you're a Nazi. We all know you're a Nazi. We all know you're a pedophile. Being nice to and coddling Nazis and pedophiles isn't a good look. But hey, you know, you did your part. You got the truth out there, even though you did it by lying. African Child MAGA says, you acting tough is turning me and Carissa on. I'm sure it is. Y'all have fun.